think then we can start. It's already 7:08, yeah. So welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being so brave. I am, for the first time, running a very explicitly named event. Usually I make it feminine embodiment and then sacred sexual energy comes up. But today it's been explicit for this specific purpose so that people who come are already open and ready. So the structure of today is going to be, we have a little bit of talk, a little bit of conversation, a little bit of sharing, and I will share some educational information first, and then we will have a practice, and then we'll close again with a sharing circle. So welcome. You can leave your shoes over there and take any spot you like. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. One thing that I'm going to mention in terms of admin, that thing is being recorded. It's recording only me. None of you are visible in there, and none of you will be in there. And if you need the bathroom at any time, please go. The light will not be this really bright the whole time. It will really go down once we actually do the practice. But for the time while I'm showing you pictures and speaking with you, I'm going to have light like this. And during the practice, you might need a lot more space around your pelvis. So if you're wearing jeans, I'm not sure you probably are, if you feel free to open a button, because that will be really restricting your movement if you have very tight jeans. But that will be already when we have a light jeans and everybody will be already relaxed and ready. Okay. So my name is Mariya. I am the founder of Feel, and Feel is a platform for women to connect to their bodies. The main job that I do for the world is I help women to find a connection and love for the body, which is the temple in which we live in, and it has all the answers we seek. And people can all connect and really feel the empowerment of that in simple ways. And sacred sexual energy is something that I am deeply passionate about. In my one-on-one work, I transmute that much deeper. So in my one-on-one, I do a lot more work around sacred sexuality. And this is a subject I'm deeply passionate about, but unfortunately, it's not something I can go full on with my bigger business, which is, the world is not ready for it. It's too powerful. And we are going to learn why today. And it's really a pleasure to have a group of women like you who are brave and open and juicy and know that there is something there that is really beyond simple pleasures, which are also very important. And in terms of tantric practices, there's a lot of mystery around Tantra, and a lot of, I would say, people talk a lot more about what Tantra isn't or is and who is supposed to teach it and how, and there is a lot more talk around the arguments of that than around the truth of what Tantra actually wants to teach us. And Tantra is a framework and a philosophy with multiple lineages. You want to go into history, it's pretty complex. But at the very core, there are a few principles that I want to share right away now, because we will be using them in the entire evening, is that our bodies are divine and our bodies allow us to access the divine. At the very core of Tantra, there is a principle of nothing is separate. So if you compare it to any kind of a lot of religions, in Tantra you pray and you access, be it God, be it whatever you consider divine, through yourself. You always have access to that, as opposed to you have to go somewhere and speak to a certain person and be in a certain place in a certain, you have to basically depend on the external to pray. And that's basically the most important thing that I want to share today, is that if we are learning about tantric practices, it is really about understanding that there is something in us that is by default pure and divine, and that by using our bodies and connecting mindfully, consciously to our bodies and treating our bodies as temple, we can find answers, we can pray, and we do not really depend on the external so much to feel good and feel connected. And I can dive into it deeper. We'll see what the circle tells us today. And from here, I would like to open the space, and we just have one more person. Let's see, maybe she doesn't even join. So you never know. So I'd like to already open the circle now and just hear your name, maybe a little bit about why you came here today. It always helps me to actually create the energy of the evening and know what is it that I want to share today, because it depends on you. It's not that I have a prepared script. So it's really important that you open up, share a little bit, and that is going to help me create what's going to happen tonight. So I'm going to start here, and if you can share your name and a few lines about what interests you, that'd be beautiful.
Sure. I'm Hannah, and I'm here because I've done a few similar things before, but it's been a few years, so it's really lovely to reconnect with it, and I was really interested in kind of anything that makes me more embodied, whether that's being more sort of physically fit or going inwards, but either way, like being more inside in my body and connected.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Indra, and I came here. I would like to immerse myself in feminine energy to be a woman, kind of relax, sink in after a stressful day, and connect with my feminine, with my base.
This very important space, yes. Beautiful, thank you, and good to see you again.
Hi, I'm Aisha. So the reason why I came today is because I've had like my own like trials with like vaginismus and like numbing and like not feeling connected with my womanhood. But then I noticed that when I was like under the influence, if I was like high or drunk, I can connect easier.
Okay, I'm going to speak to that. Yeah.
Like, I can connect, I can understand, but when I'm sober, it's like nothing.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to like understand and learn more about like femininity and womanhood.
Thank you. This is really good that you're sharing this, because I can speak to this. It's very common, so thank you.
Hello, my name's Amy. I've been disconnected from my body my whole life. Up until maybe 10 years ago, I started my recovery journey, and now I help others. I'm an energy healer and a body worker, so now I'm very much about helping others to connect as well. And I feel like both spiritually, personally, professionally, all roads are leading me to Tantra. I'm really into yoga, and I'm very. I look deep into things, and everything that I've read about it, and it just resonates with me, and I feel it coming into my work more. But I'm feeling torn because of the male expectations. They have a different concept of the word, like it's a code word for something else.
Yeah.
I'm not really understanding the fullness, and I'm just in love with it at the moment, and find out more.
Beautiful, thank you.
Hi, I'm Corinne. I'm here to find out more about Tantra. My Tantra experience up until now has involved men, and that's been fabulous and very eye-opening. But what excited me about this today is that it's a space of women, and that I'm going to be connecting to it within myself, which I have had a little bit of practice of, but not bits of sort of self-guided and in the woods on my own amongst it, because of what I've learned through men. So I'm really excited to learn from a woman and connect to my femininity.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Saskia. I've been on a very long journey for many, many years, and this is just the next step. So I'm very new to all of this, obviously been to a few of your events, but I have not done much research and simply just read what was happening today, and very, very open. So.
Yay, welcome.
I've not done my research.
You don't need to.
My name's Natalie. I'm so happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a week. I really have been looking forward to the nourishment of being in a feminine space. A lot of life detoxes happening. So I started the feminine path very recently with Mariya's work, and that brought me back to the sense of wholeness and self-sustenance that blows my mind, and I'm here to learn more. And learn more specifically about the womb wisdom.
Yeah.
Connect more with my womb.
Hi, I'm I'm Deanne, and I'm very new to all this. I don't know anything about the womb, but it sounds wonderful. I love being in women's circles. I feel much more comfortable with women, especially in this kind of work. And I think my biggest challenge is disconnecting my head from my body, and I want to be more in my body. And I'm really interested in the breathing techniques and just being one with my body and not thinking about things. So the only thing I know about Tantra is a book I've read. So obviously that tells you where my head is. I want to go away from the books and just experience it.
Perfect. This is a great place to be in.
Hey, I'm Alex, and I've become kind of interested. I don't know anything about this, not much, but I've become quite interested in this because I'm really interested in pleasure and embodied experiences, and have always felt that there's something maybe beyond our understanding in pleasure, something a bit metaphysical. So I've been spending a lot of time diving deeper into that.
Yeah, it is true. So you're right. Thank you. Okay, so let's then talk about a few things that have been drawn here in the circle, and it's always perfect. And I think the practice that it's already been burst. I even prepared some printouts for you. You're I'm so organized for the first time ever for a workshop. So proud. But let's see if we will even use them. All right, so let's talk first about the connection to the body. I think I'll start with Tantra because that will really get back to the connection to the body much better. First of all, you can see that I'm not an Indian person. And first, before even starting to teach anything connected to Tantra, I had to overcome this fear of being seen, where there is a lot of talk of, well, you can't, this is a cultural misappropriation because Tantra comes from India and only an Indian person can truly teach that. Then, at the very core of Tantra, there is this concept of non-duality, which means nothing is separate from the other. And there is a unity of everything. And a word, Tantra is a word. We need to remember that. A word leads to truth. You have many different philosophies, frameworks, cultures, ideas, even in some Muslim traditions, although we think about Muslim traditions as something that is really disconnected from the body, sexuality, or femininity, or there are different stories we know. They also have really beautiful rituals when it comes to connection to the body, but people just don't know about it. If you start looking in Tao, if you start looking in different cultural, deep, ancient things people were doing to pray or to be together, to be in community, to connect, you'll always find very similar ideas. And the most common traditions that you can look at will be Tantra and Tao. So one coming in from China, one coming from India. And they just have different names for the same thing, or different pictures for the same thing. In ancient Egypt, you will always find the same idea. And the idea is that our bodies are not just something we control with our minds. It's not that just this is like a thing that we somehow have and it has some problems and then we're fixing it. No, there is a certain power in the body, and the power comes not from here. Here is the connection to the universe or being able to see. Power comes from here. Always starts at the root. So there is a sensation of something living in you that is a creative force that you can feel if you practice. And in Tantra, the most popular thing is tantric sex. This is how we know of Tantra in the Western world. And it's also important to talk about tantric sex, especially in today's context. It is really beautiful when people find Tantra because they are interested in better sex. It is no less spiritual than what people can say, oh, it's not about sex. Well, it is about sex. It can be about sex. Anything can be tantric. I think it's easier to understand Tantra if you start understanding that anything can be tantric. Why? Because tantric, if we say a thing is tantric, it means it has an intention to connect to the divine. It has an intention to connect to something bigger than you. So when you have tantric sex, it means this is not just about coming or releasing energy. This is about connecting to the divine, be it through your self-pleasure or be it with a partner. So even if you, on the opposite, if you just be like, oh, I want to try tantric sex. I saw in pictures that you kind of sit in front of each other and breathe and you're supposed to get an orgasm. That will not be really tantric sex because you don't actually have a practice or intentionality in it. You're just trying to replicate something you've seen on a picture, right? And anything can be tantric if you have your intention to connect to the divine. Say, tantric meditation, eating food. I don't know, take a strawberry and understand how incredible it is that this is a creation of nature, that the earth had to exist and the water and people who took care of the land, and then like you connect to this strawberry and you eat it and you flavor, you feel the flavor, you enjoy it and you feel the sensation of connection. That can be, you can call it tantric eating. And if people had enough marketing around it, they could make it a thing as well. Yeah, so that's, I think this way you can start understanding what do people mean about Tantra, what does it even mean. Anything can be tantric. And then tantric sex is an incredible path into this world because, of course, sometimes we humans, we need a desire, want to fulfill something. And if we get into Tantra because we want to have epic sex, and then you start actually learning how to do that, what happens? If most of us live in our heads, and for a normal person to start really receiving pleasure and connection from tantric sex, it takes quite a lot of practice. If people just, okay, it's a normal person, I work in the office, I live in my head, I have so much thoughts, then I'm like, okay, let's have tantric sex, I'm sitting with my partner, and we need now to breathe for 15 minutes. It would be like, shit, this is so boring. Okay, this is not my thing. For it to actually become amazing and juicy and pleasurable and like really feel the intention and the energy and actually get aroused and actually experience an orgasm this way, one goes through the whole journey of reconnection with the body. Because in the body we have a lot of pleasure, we have a lot of beauty, but it's not accessible to most people because we have a lot of trauma, a lot of disconnection. I need to make a music a little lower. How do I do that? Okay. So a lot of people will have to learn and unlearn what we know, what keeps us in the head, and a lot of people have to release all the tension, all the trauma that doesn't allow them to actually be still and actually enjoy themselves in this state. So when people find Tantra, so tantric sex, and actually pursue the journey, it takes them on a journey of reconnection. And now we can talk about the connection to the body. Because the body, it is very natural for the body to feel good. When we are born as babies, we are fully expressed. Yeah, we move, we breathe with our bellies, not here. And this is our natural state of being fully expressed and being able to move energy. And then we grow up and we go through life, and we, especially in our modern Western world, what we do in school, we have to sit straight, be calm, be quiet, obey. And that blocks us from the actual expression and movement of the energy that we're meant to have. So after reaching a certain age, learning to be obedient and still and good girl, a lot of those things that we are meant to experience stop happening. So our main job becomes to reconnect back to the flow that we always had as children. And that feels extremely good. So you go through Tantric practices, you can go on a journey of reconnecting to that essence that just feels deeply good. And how you do that, you learn to release stress, release tension. You have lots of practices for that. And then you learn to feel a simple pleasure of being. And that you do through breath, movement, and a lot of self-pleasure. You learn to feel, how can I actually feel every cell of my body and feel so good by being with myself and honoring my body temple. And women have a deeply powerful potential living in here, and you know that our sexuality has always been suppressed and shamed for centuries. It was something that always had to be controlled or owned, or you're too sexual, you're a slut, you're non-sexual, you're frigid, you have to be with a husband, you have to contain. This energy always had to be contained, because a woman who owns her sexual energy is powerful. She has clear boundaries, she's always connected, she feels good by herself. And so selling things to her or telling her what to do becomes very difficult. If you feel beautiful within yourself, always connected, and at any point you can make yourself feel good, you're unlikely to comply. And that's why it's been so cold to this, and so much trauma has been created over so many years in so many places. So for us now, if you want to reconnect, the first thing we want to do is to have compassion for ourselves. Yeah, there is a reason why it's not easy or natural to feel good. It can be in this lifetime that we've experienced trauma. It could be that years and generations and the way our mothers lived and our grandmothers lived. There's so much that is being held. So understanding that it's really normal to not feel good by default because of what happened for so many generations is then step number one. And then with love and compassion, you can reconnect and really enjoy yourself. And what happens in the end when it's never ending, it's a never ending journey, but when you feel that awakening of this energy, and speak about how it actually moves, you can name it Kundalini awakening, and our raw energy coming from your pelvis. At any moment, at any time, you are in control of how you feel, and you can feel really good. And good sex is just a side effect. But then there is deep confidence, there is magnetism. You enter a room and people see you, notice you, and respect you. There is a containment that you also hold with all of that. So this is a deep power that you can awaken by awakening your sexual energy. And if you speak about sexual energy as something that you hold here in your womb, in your pelvis, and you honor and love, and then you learn to move it up and make it spiritual energy, that's what Tantra will teach you, among many other things. And Tantra doesn't, the word Tantra, Tantric practice, Tantric path, or a lot of books that the Tantra offers, it doesn't have to be the path. Yeah, you can also just choose to reconnect to the body and choose to experience and learn to experience more pleasure in you, because this is the point. Yeah, you don't have to know and to be in your head so much about these concepts, because either you choose to do it through Tantra, either you choose to do it through yoga, through embodiment, through Taoist practices, through self-pleasure, through whatever, it all leads to the same place. Yeah? And then, speaking of, just to touch on things like vaginismus, it requires much deeper, deep dive. But things like that, they're unfortunately very common these days, and it is a trauma response. And so the first thing you always do as a step number one is practice a lot of love and compassion for this space. Because perhaps it cannot open because there is not enough love and compassion, and there needs to be so much safety for a woman to actually open. And that level of safety, very rarely we get from anyone else except ourselves. And then a really loving, beautiful partner, if we can ever attract them into our lives, who is solid, loving, and protective, they can hold us in this way. But it starts with us. We need to understand that there is an immense amount of safety that needs to happen. And it's hard to feel safe when in sexuality, because, again, so much trauma, people want to take all the time, so body protects itself. And then there are layers, but it's beautiful to begin the journey of healing. I do work with people with vaginismus, but it's always quite deep, and there is no one way, just love, compassion, and holding. All right, so today we will do a practice where we'll learn to feel this energy here. So you can call it Kundalini energy, you can call it sexual energy, but there is a sense of living something. Yeah, so in Tantra, in yoga, in Vedic sciences, you would have chakras. This is not necessarily correct, it's a bit lower, so these chakras are very close together. But what I want to point out here, so if you start learning a little bit more and feeling such concepts as chakras, it simply becomes easier to understand your body and energy. I think this is worth learning and looking into. And today you will practice with your chakras or energy centers, because this way you get to learn and understand that this energy, be it pleasure, warmth, so any sensation that lives at your root, is something that you can feel moving up. And is something that you can feel how it can unblock and unlock any other center. And the in the basics of chakras is that a human has 7 chakras. Your root, yeah, so your root at the very bottom, so that would be your genitals. And that's your connection to the earth, how safe you feel, grounded. And this is a very important space. So if you see it, it's safety and groundedness. And when you are disconnected from your sexuality, from your pleasure, it's very, you don't really feel grounded, you don't really feel safe. Your very basic instincts are not satisfied. And that's how a lot of people live in fear. It's important that we recognize that, and then we learn that this is actually an access to power source. And with pleasure, with openness, we can learn to awaken this energy and let it move and circulate through the body. And I'll get into this a little bit deeper. This is more from Tao. But if you can just like visualize, and you will be visualizing it today, a movement of your energy from your root up into your crown and back. This is very helpful, a very helpful practice. So we want to awaken something here and then move it up through the back of your spine and then down back to the root. You'll be guided through it, but I feel like getting some images in the beginning is very helpful. Okay, just a few mentions on this chakra thing. The more connected to the body you become, the more you start feeling how certain places in your body speak to you with different emotions and with different energies, and they also hold different stories. These days, there is a lot more research coming out around emotions and stories being connected to certain parts. The body keeps the score. It becomes a bit more of a common sense. But ancient wisdom has always knew that. And places that are most commonly blocked, especially for women, sexual center, your root chakra. Then there is a lot of blockage, often is in the solar plexus. So very often when you want to move energy, it can feel really blocked here. So you want to really know and be aware of that. It's very normal. This is your power, how much you can go after your dreams and actually move forward and feel powerful, but also be vulnerable. Heart can be blocked if people have issues with love. Very often it's also the easiest place to feel, which is good. Throat, very often, because a lot of people, especially women, have problems expressing their voice. And everything is deeply connected. And when your energy, the sexual energy, doesn't move, everything else is blocked. Yeah, so maybe we are much better at understanding the third eye and consciousness, just because as human beings we learn so much with our heads and we understand intuition as just being able to see. It's still not a fully empowered intuition if nothing moves. But if anything is blocked here and energy moves from here, then you're basically not living to your fullest potential. And that's the idea. So this part is the most important. And then when you unlock this part, you can then start working on unlocking everything else and using this pleasure and energy to unlock everything else. So that's an important idea, and we're going to work with that today. When it comes to any kind of practice, your ability to feel, breathe, and move your pelvic floor muscles are key. So just learning to work with energy at the very beginning is very difficult, and this is really normal. Yeah, so depending on where you're coming from, I've started my practice when I was 12 years old, so I'm really blessed with that. For me being connected to that, this is why in my young age I'm able to still work with it already with people. But most people have never tried, right? So if you're going through life and you never learn a concept of energy and you just do it for the first time, it can be really difficult to understand. But that takes practice, as with anything. If I go and start, I don't know, learning to drive Formula 1 cars, I will also have no idea how to do it, right? So it always comes with practice. And if today is your first time, just know that it takes a bit of, but just trust the process. When working with energy, there are 2 things, especially with sexual energy, that really help. Actually 3. Breath, sound, and pelvic floor. So breath is what helps you to direct energy. If you think you want to breathe into your womb, and you find your womb, and you just breathe into your womb, and let's do that. You don't have to touch it, you can touch it, but If you think you breathe in your womb and your intention is to breathe into your womb, you can feel your womb a little more. Good. I can feel you feeling your womb. You can notice that with your breath, you can just put your attention in different places of the body. And that is really important. So you can use your breath everywhere in life. But when you want to connect to your womb, you breathe into your womb. You want to connect to your genitals, you breathe into your genitals. And same with heart and everything else. And then sound. Most people, especially in the UK, don't make a sound so hard. It's just, yeah, if you when we do this event in Ibiza, it's like sound and everyone's like, ah. And in the UK, everybody's like, come on. But there is quite a deep history here, and the Victorian era has done a lot to people here. So it's okay to honor, but making a sound is deeply powerful, connecting. You're vibrating through your vocal cords, through your entire body. Your vocal cords are connected to pelvic floor, and they are a reflection of your pelvic floor. So your vocal cords look like this, and your pelvic floor look like this. When you're vibrating your vocal cords, you're also vibrating your pelvic floor. When you vibrate here, your muscles inside of your pelvis also vibrate. And when you relax here and open, and then these places also vibrate. The really edgy thing that I will just drop here, and it might trigger a lot of people, but one of the ways when you, and it's okay if you're triggered, just know it's okay. One of the ways of unlocking the voice, that's already after you deal with trauma, and a lot of women have sexual trauma, myself included. Every third woman had a history of sexual abuse, so it's really normal to be triggered, but it's also important to address that and heal that. So once you get to a level of I'm good. One of the really powerful practices, if we have sex with men, is deep throating to unlock the throat. I want to just drop it here for you to feel into the connection. Actually, when you allow this place to really open, everything opens, and here the space really relaxes. Obviously, that's consensual, loving, etc. But just saying. So these places are important to pay attention to. And opening our throats and making a sound, is how you can express and how you can release. If you're stuck and you're never really breathing out fully, you stay stuck. You want to make this channel. If there is something here, and obviously this potent energy will also push things out of you, stress, pain, fear, you want to push it out from somewhere, and your throat is your opportunity to do so. You're stuck. Often if you do any kind of practice, you can shake, you can move, and something gets stuck here, and you want to release. And then when you make a sound of pleasure, you also create more pleasure in the body. Lastly, pelvic floor. These are the muscles you all have. You have a picture in front of you. Men also have that. It's not a female thing, it's a human thing. And these muscles are this is, by the way, from the top. It's a picture from the top. It's cut from here. So these are huge. It's a big group of muscles, and these muscles are holding your organs. So they would be here, holding everything together. And 25% of women have a pelvic floor prolapse when they give birth, because their muscles are so weak and never trained, they just holding a baby becomes a problem. But then every third woman has urinary incontinence, meaning if she jumps on a trampoline, can't hold a pee. That's because no one ever told us that this is important. Yeah? But this is really important for 1 million reasons. But when it comes to learning to work with your energy and with your pleasure, all these muscles can actually move. And they're really juicy and really, really good and beautiful. They all can squeeze and move, and you can play with them. And it's not about satisfying anyone else. It's actually about you. When you connect to these muscles, they become healthy. When you learn to move them, to train them, your pleasure capacity increases massively. And, well, gotta connect to these. So when you have a practice, one of the fundamental practices in Tantra, in Tao, is learning to move this energy up. Learning to move pleasure and sexual energy up to your crown, and then this energy becomes spiritual energy, and moving it back. So in Tao, you would be learning the microcosmic orbit. Microcosmic orbit, we don't need to get into the details, I'm just mentioning that it is a practice of moving this energy up through your spine continuously and then down. It's a very simple practice, you do it with your mind, but this is a fundamental. And we will be doing today, just moving this directly up to the crown by using pelvic floor muscles. One thing is to inhale and visualize how things move up. But another thing is to inhale and squeeze your pelvic floor and really move things through your body. It's just one thing that I want to be teaching you today. Moving things through your body. I think that's all the theory. You can keep the pictures for yourself. Any questions at this stage? I really don't know how to control the music. Yeah. Yes.
So with like the breathing, like you breathe it in through like your womb, is that something you practice every day, or is it something that you might practice? I don't know.
Okay, great question. The most important thing in this path, if you want to be connected to your body and really be embodied, confident, powerful, sexy, then it even goes into money and everything else, you have to practice every day. But you don't have to practice the same thing. What you need to do, you have to practice every day something that makes you feel connected to the body. And it just really depends on you. Like some people need a really structured approach. And that might mean, okay, I'm going to connect to my womb, so I'm going to do a womb breath work for 10 minutes every day for 21 days. That could be the structure. Or for example, I had different times of my practice. I had times when I would practice meditation every day. I would do candle staring. I would do yoga, like the sun salutations. All of these things were in my life. It's all important. And then there is a pleasure practice. So these days, I like my pleasure practice much more than structured things. So instead of womb breathing could be one thing, it's just a part of it for me. But the way I would do it is I just turn music, I put myself on the mat, and I just move, breathe, and do self-touch for as long as I want to. And that makes me feel really connected. It's something that you will start doing once you feel the pleasure as something that is deeply alive. But before that, you do things that awaken it, which could be mindful self-touch for 10 minutes, or womb breath work, or heart breath work, or throat breath work, whatever feels the most blocked. So I guess short answer is every day, but it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you want to practice. And this is why we created Feel. On Feel, you have a daily practice from 10 to 15 minutes that you can choose from, and you always have access to something that's going to guide you. It's an online platform.
Is it an app?
Unfortunately, not yet an app, but it is online.
Oh, okay.
So basically, that's the whole idea, because you need some guidance, especially in the beginning, and you just have a ritual every day. All right, so we're going to then settle into our practice space. You don't need to worry about anything, you just need to do you and be you. Permissions, so they're very important. So I'm going to dim the light, I'm going to figure out how to do the music sound. Yeah. And we work a lot now with movement. There will be a little bit of dance, a little bit of breath, a little bit of many different things. It's important that you feel comfortable. Yeah, so that's only one thing. You can open your button because it's important. And that's really it. You are staying within yourself. You're doing what you want to do. My guidance is your invitation. It's not a must. And next in this video, you will hear the insights of women who participated in the sexual energy awakening practice during this workshop. And if you want to also practice with us, check the link in this video description. I need you to go there and access the practice separately from this video so that you can truly immerse yourself with preparation and with integration. Welcome back, and thank you for doing this quite short and introductory practice. So the intention of this practice was for you to feel something moving from here. And actually I will give you homework, because obviously what we did here is deeply introductory, and you can try something at home with what we did, which is a self-pleasure practice that will show you a deeper level of magic that can happen when you connect to your body in this way. So if you acknowledge and realize you have this energy leaving at your root that can move up, what you can do at home, you need an hour, and it's worth it. I had an hour and a half of this today. Is you want to set up your space really beautifully, like a ritual. And then you want to have a candle, you want to have some incense, you want to have like a nice oil that you want to breathe, you want to make it sacred and beautiful. Then you want to set an intention, something such as, I want to show my body how much I love it so that it can give me gifts, or can be more beautiful, more express more health, vitality, whatever. And then, because first it's like, you need to get out of your head and of the usual everything. What helps here is a bit of movement. That's why we did that movement in the beginning, yeah? So you want to do that at home. You want to dance to a couple of songs in a way that is sexy. You want to like move your hips, you want to shake your body, you want to stand on your knees, you want to express a little bit of that through the body. And this helps you to release stress and actually get a bit in. And then you want to undress, and you want to have a big juicy amount of oil, like really good. I sometimes use coconut oil, like I use olive oil even if it's like urgent self-pleasure practice and I don't have anything. It's like, okay, olive oil, whatever. The better, like coconut oil, almond oil, something natural, like whatever you can eat. You don't want to put on your skin anything that you can't eat. And then you slowly put oil all over your body, everywhere. Feet, your face, your neck, everywhere, and slowly. Yeah, because there's this like, oh, I'm going to put cream on my hair very quickly. You know? Very slowly. In that process, you already feel a lot of pleasure and connection after you dance. And then you want to kind of paint each chakra with oil on your body, slowly. And with time, you might develop different erogenous zones. Even now, like I have so much pleasure from here. Like I can literally like just hear, so good. Like so you can establish this connection to these places. Just paint them with oil after you already oiled your entire body, and from there you want to connect to your pussy and move with hands up through your body, like kind of distribute this energy and get into self-pleasure. And you can touch your genitals, your breasts, but have that as an intentional long practice that involves this whole foreplay before, yeah? And if you want to take yourself to an orgasm, wonderful. If not, even if it ends here, where you simply connect to this whole process for your whole body and honor yourself as in this beautiful way, you'll just feel incredible. After that, you're magnetic, you're beautiful, everyone wants to talk to you, you have to contain that also and have really good boundaries. But that is so effective, so efficient. And I do that, like today I had a podcast that is on camera and I have gray roots. And I had a choice, do I want my hair to look perfect or do I want to be magnetic from inside? Because I have an hour and a half, color my hair or do self-pleasure. I have gray roots still. Yes. And obviously that works. That always works. I always know whenever if you want to impress somebody, be influential, to create anything, you just do that. And that's the main secret that people don't know about and don't want us to know about. So that would be your homework. These things can be hard or easy, or like it all depends on where you're coming from. Something that Nathalie is going through is Kundalini awakening. And this is also important to know, is when you actually awaken this energy, it starts, you can see a lot of videos of people like who are now Kundalini awakening, something people like to give others. And there is a sense of like you can see these things happening. it's not that people fake it, it's actually real. Yeah, so something moves from inside and it becomes hard to control. So in this way, your practice is not so much awakening into, so it can be intense, but actually learning to move that in the loop, because it kind of wants to break out of you, but you want to learn to actually contain it in the body and move it. And so I like actually getting connection everywhere and not just here becomes like soothing experience. So that is cool to see. Yeah.
What we did today at the regular practice, because I do the breath energy gasm from Urban Tantra, which is that process. So that shuddery feeling I get quite regularly. So what you're saying is to take the shudder and move it into the circle.
Move it into the circle. Yeah, yes.
So it sort of feels like to me like energy's trying to get out.
Yes.
So I'm always like, do I hold it in or do I let it go? But instead get it into the circle.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm like, oh, this is a good thing to address, right? So one thing, you awaken it, but what do you do with it?
And it always feels a bit like, oh, should I hold it in?
Yeah, and this is
there's a sort of feeling like it's sort of like in that hold.
This is really good to understand when you want to understand orgasm, because orgasm is energy is building, and then you like most people just release it out, and we get tired. So it's like. But that's that is basically very similar to the sensation of like, and that can be a very orgasmic sensation. So you want to and learn to expand your container and move it within, because it's even like it reminds of how much you can hold abundance in your life. So you want, if when you receive too much, you kind of spill it out. Here you want to like, and then you move it and you expand your capacity to have more. Yeah. Yes. Because you want to have more for yourself. Why? Why would you like?
It's such a strange feeling because it sort of feels push-pully, where you're like, I don't, is it in or is it out? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so expand it.
Yeah, you're expanding and moving it. That's why microcosmic orbit is a very powerful practice that you can take for yourself. That's more from Tao, but it's all the same thing.
It's almost like you're making yourself bigger to be able to contain the bigger energy that you generated.
Yes.
So like go beyond my body in terms of the space to bring that.
Yeah, you are growing your energetic body.
That makes sense, actually, because it feels sort of almost external, but if I extend my energy field around, and then it then moves within me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to change things.
Yes.
I'm going home tonight.
Yes. Perfect. So yeah, that's basically what you're visualizing. It's a little picture. Cool. Then that's what I felt I could address, and we can talk. And yeah. So any questions? Anything for now? You have your homework. Beautiful.
I just want to say one thing, like, oh my gosh, I have like so many revelations, and then I remembered that you said how by doing this, you know, where you create like some creative energy, and that's why I kept going on my phone to like write things down.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And it made me realize as well, like how, because I suffer from anxiety as well, it made me realize how much I'm in my head, because sometimes I'll be doing the practice, I'm like, I'll be back in my head, I'm like, no, go back. Go back, Aisha, like go back into your body.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why like I want to try this every day as well is to stay calm and be in my body is so important, especially as a woman. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.